Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, students. Good morning, members of the staff. Good morning, esteemed alumni. Good morning, community members. Our hive, our home. This is my 29th fall address since joining the CSU, and I'm a proud professor of philosophy in the CSU. Get to wear my garb today. Proud to be part of this amazing effort in public higher education. Thank you all for being here this morning as we start another academic year. Students arriving around campus, professors scurrying to get their syllabuses done, staff and everybody working hard to make this next year an amazing year. We acknowledge with respect that our land our campus is on today was and continues to be the homelands of the indigenous people of this area, the Nissim, Pawanan, Nisenan, and Miwok. The larger Sacramento area and its rivers serve as gathering places for many local tribes from the surrounding valleys and foothills, including the southern Maidu, Patwin, and Wintun. We recognize these lands and riverways as unceded traditional territories of these native peoples. We further recognize these California Native nations and respect their sovereignty. By offering this land acknowledgement, we affirm a commitment to build relationships and foster a university environment of success to better serve Native nations and communities. It's been my honor and privilege to get to know Albert Tittman, who will bless this ceremony and sing for us. Albert is our tribal elder in residence at the Asoctama Center. I hope you'll visit the Asoctama Center on campus in Lassen Hall. He's an active healer in his community, an active leader in his community, most notably recently doing work in the Native Dads Network, helping dads be better dads. A proud member of the Miwok Nation, please join me in welcoming Mr. Albert Tittman.
Whoa, those lights are really bright. Majuksasa, Kuchihiyama, welcome to this beautiful sunrise this morning. Kanioyase Albert Tittman, Tumule, Nisenan, Miwok, Maidu, and my grandmother is the Medesi band of the Pit River Nation. My mother is also a descendant from Mexico, the Chochimeca people, and it's a great honor for me to stand here before you all and listen to the land acknowledgement, by the way. That was beautiful. And because usually we're offering it in more recently in the school districts surrounding this beautiful campus, we realized that that's not for us. We know whose land we're on. It's for all of you, right? And so it makes sense for you to read it, to all of us, and it sounds really beautiful. My ancestors, we believe we existed here since the beginning of time. We're surrounded by rivers and streams and lakes. All the way to the coast of California, Miwok people have existed, Nisenan people in this region, the Maidu relatives. I'm linked to many of the tribes. My family's enrolled in the Ione band, Miwok, which is not far from here. But I have family in Wilton. I have family in the other tribes, United Auburn Indian Community. And so it's a great honor that I get to share a blessing today. And I'm going to share a blessing in the best way that I'm learning as a Miwok We're learning our Miwok language, our Nisenan language. Then I'm gonna offer a song, and this we call it a tuta song. But this song is a song that is a blessing, but it's really asking the Creator to send the spirit of wind to help our dancers, to help our medicine people clean the pathway of life, clean this pathway in the roundhouse or as we walk out of the roundhouse, to help us on our journey of life and to create a safe way for us to walk in harmony and balance. And so that song I'll sing after. And I want to share just a little bit about the Native Dads Network. I've been working in the field of behavioral health many of those years at the Sacramento Native American Health Center, helped develop the behavioral health program to be founded and grounded in Native American culture and then integrated with Western approach. And it's been very successful there. Many of you know SNAC. It's really expanded services across the entire county, the greater Sacramento area. And we serve everybody there. It wasn't just tribal people, although when the doors first opened, our demographic was tribal people, but over the years expanded to serving all human beings. And Native Dads Network grew out of our work there. Mike Duncan was a participant and then, went back to school, earned a degree in chemical dependency counseling, and he was my intern at SNAC. And he was a single dad. And on his journey, we both realized, because I was trying to help him with some of the social work and case management, and realized there wasn't a lot of services for Native fathers, let alone fathers, single dads in Sacramento. There was a couple of organizations, and we greatly appreciated those organizations, but none of them had opportunities for housing for a single father with his kids. And so Mike had a aha moment, we say, and he said, "Brother, I had a vision. I want to start a nonprofit. I want to serve Native dads." And I said, "Okay, tell me a little bit more about that." And he goes, "I think that's the title, Native Dads Network." And so, right there on the spot. And we developed that nonprofit in 2012, and we actually received the actual 501c3 status in 2014. And we've been really grassroots for many years, and the pandemic helped us outreach to the world, pretty much, especially tribal communities across the United States, even into Canada. And so we are doing work to really support Native fathers and mothers, their families, their children. And so we have developed youth leadership program. We have Motherhood and Fatherhood is Sacred courses. We provide opportunities for volunteerism, community service, et cetera. And so we are located right in Midtown Sacramento. And we're moving to Natomas as we're expanding and we're outgrowing our program. We just recently hired a LCSW. So now we're providing therapy to Native fathers and their families. And so go to our website, Native Dads Network. You can learn a little bit more about our work. We're really proud of it because of the history of our people in this country and overcoming so many barriers, right? All the way up to genocide, attempts at genocide for California tribal people, and the attack on our family systems, which really removed our fathers from the equation. And so as growing up, my father wasn't the most healthiest role model, absent a lot. And so Native Dads Network is really working for us to be models and then to share that model across the country. So I'm really blessed to be here at Sac State as the elder in residence. So thank you. I'm going to offer this blessing. I'll sing the song and I'll offer a short prayer in Miwok language. Hile, 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 ho. Joselele, Koneska, Yatewale, Denke Kamo, Depane, Denke Kamo, Huke, Gekun, Susupu, Ajijima, Aleata, Sawana, Wanga, and Yiksuka. And I simply said thank you to the Creator of this great earth, to the ancestors of this land, and to Mother Earth herself for giving us this opportunity to breathe the air, to drink the water, clean ourselves up with water, to acknowledge our plant relatives. Sometimes we take for granted the things that bring us life, and our plant relatives provide nourishment, they provide medicine for us, and we say thank you to our animal relatives that swim, fly, crawl, slither. We say thank you because they, if we're paying close attention, they teach us how to be in relationships to one another. As human beings, boy, we really know how to screw that up. So if we pay attention to our animal relatives, they teach us how to be. And so they sacrifice their lives so we can wear Jordans and and other clothing. And I said thank you to all of you. So Onyxe is like saying all my relatives. So I said thank you to all of you for sharing this space, acknowledging my ancestors and our existence here today, and just want to offer a blessing to you, young man, for sharing this welcome, and you, Dean. So thank you. Oh.
Good morning, Sac State.
I would like to introduce you to Sac State's second-term student body president, Natalie Andrade Dominguez. Starting her graduate studies in the educational leadership program this fall.
And I would like to introduce the Chair of Faculty Senate, Caroline Gibbs. It is an honor to welcome you to the President's Fall 2024 address and the start of the new academic year.
Both of us are here to introduce someone you've gotten to know over this past year. So Natalie, I just started this job in May, and you have had a full year to get to know President Wood. And I was just wondering about some initial experiences I've had with President Wood this summer.
I'm happy to share.
Well, I was wondering, before your first meeting with President Wood, did you get an email recommending a certain dress code?
Wait, you got that too?
Yes, apparently there's a new footwear policy enacted for all high-level personnel when meeting with the president. Though I don't remember that policy getting the Faculty Senate stamp of approval.
Ready? I've got one. Have you noticed that every time President Wood walks, music starts to play?
You mean like in the show Ally McBeal? Yeah, I thought I was imagining that.
So, Caroline, should we dive into some of President Wood's accomplishments within his first year?
Absolutely. I don't think they'll let us stay up here forever. Last fall, President Wood promised to prioritize the success of students, particularly those students who face systemic inequities in education. Over the past academic year, we've seen this commitment come to life in meaningful and impactful ways. One of the most significant achievements was the creation of the nation's first Black Honors College. This groundbreaking initiative, which welcomes its inaugural class this fall, offers high-achieving students of all races and majors a comprehensive curriculum centered on the Black and African American experience. President Wood has also prioritized enhancing support for our Latinx students, who represent approximately 37% of our student body. To further improve our servingness, President Wood employed a clustered hiring strategy and committed 17 new tenure-track faculty positions for candidates who have demonstrated success in teaching and mentoring Latinx students. His commitment to California's Native American student population has led to a significant partnership with the California Tribal College. This collaboration is part of his broader vision to ensure Sac State becomes the #1 university to fully support Native American students, helping them succeed in higher education. These examples are just 3 of many accomplishments. However, what has stood out to me most in observing President Wood's year of achievements is the way he celebrates progress and then immediately rolls up his sleeves, ready to continue the hard work of guaranteeing success for students.
President Wood truly puts the needs of students first. During his listening sessions with the campus community last fall, he heard firsthand the need to enhance student services. Since then, President Wood has worked tirelessly to do so. Last fall, the Jewish Life and Resource Center officially opened its doors as the first space on campus dedicated to supporting Jewish students. And this semester, the SWANA, Southwest Asia and North Africa Center, will open its doors dedicated to supporting SWANA students. Another grand opening is the Basic Needs Center that will take place this fall, providing students with basic needs support. This center will include a secondary food pantry, a clothing closet, CalFresh support, emergency housing, and counseling. His commitment to meeting students' basic needs has been one of his main priorities. Under his leadership, the establishment of the world's first collegiate pathway into professional combat sports, known as Combat U, partnering with UFC Hall of Famer Uriah Faber to create an experience for students to train for professional boxing and mixed martial arts while getting a high-quality academic education at Sacramento State. These are just a few examples of President Wood's dedication to students. But what has stood out the most to me as a student leader has been his commitment to elevating student voices and experiences. We have seen this through his commitment to affirming students' rights to protest and attending student organizations and clubs. So Caroline, it is truly admiring to have a president who is dedicated to student success, to closing equity gaps, and enhancing the life of every student who joins our Hornet family.
I agree, Natalie. And now I think there's only one more thing to say.
It is our privilege to welcome the President of Sacramento State, Dr. Luke Wood.
That was phenomenal. How's everyone doing this morning? All right. Welcome back to the fall semester. How's that feel? So, I'm still laughing with that introduction. That was phenomenal. So, as you know, my name's Luke, and I have the pleasure of serving as the president for Sacramento State. And what we're going to do this morning is we're going to actually divide our time into two sections. So you'll hear some remarks from me, and I'll talk about some of the challenges that we navigated last year and look forward to navigating this year, but then I'll also talk about some of the things that are going well, and there's a lot of things that are going well. And then we will transition to a panel that will feature our students, so we can hear directly from them about their experience here at Sacramento State. So, as I said, we'll start out with some of the challenges, so let's dive right in. And we'll start with cap radio, budget, and encampment. We're going right into it. All right, so as many of you know, in February of 2022, President Nelson requested an audit of Capitol Public Radio due to discrepancies in their budget. On July 20th, just 4 days into my beginning presidency here at Sacramento State, we received the draft audit from the Cal State system, which at that point in time was described as the worst audit in the system's history. The audit detailed significant financial discrepancies, lack of financial controls, failure to make payments on multi-million-dollar loans, improper record keeping, taking out loans and lines of credit without the board approval, and potential conflicts of interest with board members who seemingly had materially benefited from contracts with Cap Radio. We also learned that Cap Radio had inflated gifts to secure higher matching funds from the federal government and had reported having $3 million in reserve when they had around $85,000. Yeah. So we responded as a campus. We took over finances for the station, created an oversight committee for all the auxiliaries, hired an intern general manager, and had the board overturned. Knowing that the biggest areas of smoke were around the previous general manager and some potential board conflicts, we initiated a forensic examination on activities between July 2020 and June 2023 to really just understand what took place. And where there was smoke, there was fire. The forensic examination released on August 14th demonstrated concerns with the general manager, and I'm reading directly from a report. CLA determined that a total of $460,000 in unsupported payments and an additional $307 in unsupported payments made by CPR to an Amex card held by this individual. The total of around $770,000, and we know that the number is far greater than that because it's only what we can prove, and it only looks at that specific time frame. And there's also a curious lack of data and missing information that also leads us to believe this. The forensic exam also identified potential conflicts of interest related to a $1.5 million furniture purchase and a 15-year lease at the Cap Radio's downtown headquarters that was large enough to have simply bought a building, not just to lease 2 floors. There's now several major issues that are looming there. First, we expect soon findings from the Office of Inspector General, that's the federal government's audit agency, which we believe will be seismically worse than what was reported by the Cal State system in their audit that looked at a different aspect of the operations. Second, there's an ongoing law enforcement investigation into the former general manager and potential legal action looming with former board members. And the Cap Radio Endowment, which is not affiliated with Sacramento State, attempted to transfer ownership of Cap Radio's main tower to KVIE. That tower is the main tower for Cap Radio. Third is the long-term debt of Cap Radio, which ranges somewhere between $35 to $42 million over the next 15 years. And we are working on long-term solutions to address that. While everything I just said is bad, can we all agree on that? I also want to highlight some really key successes. We can say something today that we couldn't say 6 months ago. Cap Radio is here to stay. We have a hardworking, honest, and community-minded board who's now in place. We've had 2 stellar interim general managers, first Tom Carlo and now Frank Miranzino. And for Cap Radio, we've got some great news. Membership is up 9%. Donations are up. Weekly membership is up 35%. The contract with NPR has been extended, and they sound better now than ever before. They're creating actual internships to work with students, and we are on track that by September, we will have fulfilled all 42 recommendations from the Cal State audit. And there's a lot of people who worked really hard to make all that happen. My personal hope is that Cap Radio will continue its phoenix-like rise from the ashes, and in short time, you may even see them expanding their reach to television and streaming. So, now let's go to budget and fees. Again, we're going to do this stuff first, then we're going to get to some of the other stuff that's more positive. Okay, the state is in the midst of a serious budget downfall, and this has had a direct impact on the Cal State and on Sacramento State. The 2024-2025 year is the second year in a row that we have a budget shortfall. The shortfalls are driven by increased costs. For any of you who've lived in California for more than 10 years, you know that the cost of living in California has only gone what? All right, up. And so, particularly for medical benefits, utility costs, insurance costs, basically everything. In addition, we are also proud that our represented employees are going to see pay increases secured through collective bargaining. That is a good thing because people need to be adequately paid and honored for the work that they do. With these things all in mind, we have to then adjust and figure out how we're going to address these issues. The Cal State trustees responded with a fee increase for tuition, not fee increase, with a tuition increase, I should say, that lasts over the next 5 years. However, this increase does not even come close to addressing the escalating costs with the different things that I've talked about. So we responded with corresponding reductions. The challenges for us here at Sacramento State is that Sac State has always operated on a very lean model, much more lean than most of the other Cal States. So to address this, divisions reduced their expenses last year by $9.7 million. This year, divisions had to reduce their expenses by $15.5. Every division took a cut. Every division had to make hard choices with the goal of reducing the impact on students and the student experience. The CSU estimates that this cut, along with increasing costs for compensation, benefits, and other inflationary costs, will result in a $1 billion shortfall next year. Yeah, that's $1 billion with a B. For Sac State, we estimate that our shortfall may be as high as $34 million. Let me be clear on one point. We must avoid some of the drastic measures that our sister campuses have taken. You cannot cut your way to success. Our sister campuses have been forced to significantly cut course sections, dramatically increase class size, lay off lecturers, potentially tenure-track faculty, cut student jobs, eliminate travel and professional development, close departments, eliminate programs. I could go on. And we do not want to have to take that same approach. Our goal is to avoid it. So we've done some things. We've merged some divisions into one division to reduce costs, but also to reduce stress on staff. Imagine having one finance person or one HR person responsible for an entire division by themselves, feeling like they cannot take a vacation because if they take a vacation, that means that everything stops. And that's not the kind of culture that we want to create. So we did merge some divisions, and we also used reserves to close the budget gap. There's going to be an upcoming budget town hall. I encourage you all to come because it would take its own conversation just to go through all the different strategies that we're employing. So we want you to be part of that. We also launched new innovative programs designed to boost enrollment, and they did just that. First, as was mentioned by our chair and our president, the Combat U, which is the first collegiate pathway into martial arts, with our executive coach being UFC Hall of Famer Uriah Faber. We now, as of this morning, have over 800 students who are part of Combat U. We also launched the AI Institute, which is hosting a massively open online course on artificial intelligence and how to use it ethically for our high school and college students. And we've launched the nation's first Black Honors College. And thank goodness it's all working. It is increasing the number of students who are coming to Sacramento State, and I'll get to that in a moment when I talk about some of that good news. We're also proposing increasing student fees that have not been raised in some of them for at least 30 years, that offer critical supports to our students. I'm going to host a final feedback event the second week of school. I invite you all to participate along with our students and for students who are here. As I said, you cannot cut your way to success, and so we have brought budget conversations to our students, noting that we have always, again, operated on a very lean model, and we're now giving students a choice to weigh in on whether or not we want to be cheap or affordable. Being cheap means we have a cultural center that has one staff person and a tiny budget that's meant to do and make magic happen for the entire campus and for an entire student population. It means we have only 25 people working in all of financial aid. It means that we have only one athletic trainer for all of club sports. It means that we don't have enough counselors, and so we have wait times that are way too long. It means that we don't have enough jobs for students on our campus, and for our international students, they can only work on campus, so no opportunities on campus has a direct impact on them, and affects some colleges, particularly the College of Engineering and Computer Science, even more than others. Being affordable means that we have the absolute lowest possible cost for our students that allows them to have the experience that they deserve. The proposed fees are informed by 92 listening sessions that we did, multiple lists of demands from students, multiple student petitions and resolutions from ASI. So we're bringing back to the student community the things that they asked to see and allowing them to weigh in on what they want to see for their future. We did a sensitivity analysis to try to ensure that it had the least impact on students. Fortunately, or unfortunately, because fees hadn't been raised in so long for many of these fees, the sensitivity analysis showed that we'll have a limited impact. And we also have a return to aid component where some dollars will go into a bucket so that those who are middle income students can apply for that if they don't have the dollars to be able to pay for it, to help have that apply to their accounts. So we're trying to be as careful and cautious as possible. I've also made a public commitment that we'll have no new mandatory fee increases or proposed increases brought through students for alternative consultation for this campus for the next 3 years. Encampment. As you all know, our campus, like many others across the country, had an encampment. Students and some faculty expressed their support for people being affected by the war in Gaza. The encampment drew sharp responses from different communities, some with great support and enthusiasm, and some feeling threatened and marginalized by the messaging. While our encampment ended without violence, and ended in a very, I think, positive way, especially when you look at what happened across the country, our sister campuses in the CSU and many UCs did not fare as well. Buildings were taken over, millions of dollars in damage in property and physical infrastructure took place. There were injuries and arrests of students and faculty. The encampment on our campus cost us about $120,000 for security, overtime, fencing, cleanup, porta potties, dumpsters, etc. In response to the encampments at the UC and the CSU last spring, the state legislature demanded a system-wide time, place, and manner policy be put into place. So that policy is now in effect. Today, the students at Sacramento State and other campuses will receive a message from the Chancellor's office with a signature from the Chancellor and all the presidents outlining a new time, place, and manner policy. For now, this policy does not apply to represented employees. That has to go through a meet and confer process. I repeat, this policy does not apply to our represented employees. To be clear, our commitment to freedom of speech and freedom of expression remains there, and we support all actions as long as they adhere to our time, place, and manner policies. But I would be remiss if I did not give you some of the highlights that you're going to see, because these are pretty big changes. First, the new policy from the system-wide says no encampments or overnight protests, period. Second, the campus now has hours of operation from 6 a.m. to midnight, and those not on campus for a university event or program will be removed. There's no physical structures related to protests or other events unless directly approved by the chancellor of the system. Costs incurred for encampments or other, not encampments, costs incurred for any activity are passed on to student organizations, sponsoring organizations, or students individually. There's no amnesty for students in violating campus policies. And we'll begin messaging with these new policies that, again, are system-wide policy that mirror what's taking place in the UC. So those are some pretty seismic changes that we want to think about, and we'll be messaging to our students. Now on to the better stuff. We talked about cap radio, we talked about budget and fees, we talked about campment and time, place, and manner, but let's look at some of the positive news. As many of you know, we are a proud Hispanic serving institution. Everyone say HSI. Everyone say HSI. All right. Which means that at least 25% of our students identify as Latinx, and as you heard from our chair and our president, we're at 37%. We are also a very proud Asian American, Native American, Pacific Islander serving institution, Anapeasy, which means that at least 10% of our students identify as Asian or Pacific Islander, and at Sacramento State, it's 22%. And as many of you know, we are home to the largest population and Black and African American students in the entire California State University system. Out of all 23 campuses, no one serves more Black students than we do. And not only that, on June 6th, Sacramento State was recognized by the California Legislative Assembly as the first ever Black serving institution in the state of California. Sacramento State is now also home to California Tribal College, a non-accredited tribal college that has previously partnered with Woodland Community College. They will eventually become their own accredited university, but the partnership with them ensures that Native American students have greater access and a greater experience at Sacramento State. And with this partnership, the preliminary data suggests, fingers crossed, we'll know for sure this fall, that we will likely have the largest population of Native students in the Cal State system. In addition to this, earlier this month, we had the grand opening of the Black Honors College. If you're part of the staff for that, can you stand up and be recognized? We celebrated our first inaugural class of 80 students who were joined by the second half of that class, another 50 students this spring. The event was highlighted on CNN National and included numerous dignitaries nationally, locally, and internationally, including the Speaker of the Guangdong Provincial Legislature from South Africa, who signed an MOU with Sac State to bring South African students here to Sacramento State, Ambassador from Rwanda to the United States, and the Minister of Scientific Research from the Democratic Republic of Congo. We also had Stephen Benjamin, who's a senior advisor to President Biden, come and do the opening lecture and keynote for our students. Monique Toussaint, who's the senior advisor for the White House Initiative on Black Americans, was here. Stephen Bradford, who's a California state senator and the author of numerous reparation bills, and the bill to create black-serving institutions in California was here, joined by our Chancellor Mildred Garcia, Board Chair Jack Clark, past Board Chair Wenda Fong, several trustees, and the event was highlighted with a couple key things. One was an announcement of a $2.5 million scholarship gift from the Angelo and Kyriakos Sakopoulos and the Sakopoulos family. And we surprised the students with a special message, video message from President Barack Obama. Let's talk about Arrive to the Hive and student life on campus. Tonight, we'll host 2 new student and family convocations. These events are at capacity, which is amazing, where we officially welcome new students and their supporters to the Hornet family. Convocation serves as the official beginning of students' experience at Sacramento State, while commencement or graduation serves as the capstone. Many of you may know that I did not have an investiture or inauguration. I didn't feel like that was a good use of campus resources, and instead we used those resources to host the convocation last year. And I'm so glad that we did, because the students and the families, they loved it, and is now part of a permanent tradition for Sacramento State, which you can see is sold out. And it's moving day. Today we've got 3,200 students who move into North Village and Hornet Commons. And tomorrow evening, we will welcome all of our students back to Sacramento State for the Hornet Fest. Gladys and her team have been working hard to make that happen. Samuel and his team have been working hard to make that happen. And Hornet Fest will take place in the main quad. There'll be food, games, dancing, fun, music. And we are expecting a record 10,000 people. All right, let's talk about enrollment and graduation quickly here. As you know, we had nearly 4,000 more applications this year than last year, and this comes at a critical time when many CSUs, 8 in particular, are struggling mightily with enrollment, some of them down as much as 35%. And our applications are up. This fall, we welcomed 4,090 new freshmen, 45 new transfers, and 1,076 new graduate students. Between our new freshmen, transfers, and students who stopped out and decided to come on back to Sacramento State, we believe that we now have the largest incoming class in Sacramento State's history this fall. So we hope the CSU will give us more money for that. Sacramento State also had a market increase of graduation rates over the years. When President Nelson began, we were at an 8.5% graduation rate. Everyone say 8.5? And we all know that's not good. That's the 4-year graduation rate. 6 years is much higher. When President Nelson departed from Sacramento State, it had reached 27.5%. And because of the hard work of everyone in this room, our student leaders, our faculty members, our staff members, the campus administration, and all the innovative programs, our preliminary data suggests that we are going to surpass, for the first time ever, the 30% graduation mark for 4 years. Okay, the good news doesn't stop there. I'm going to go a little faster here. We now open the 910 place for UEI, the UEI sponsored facility that is a housing complex for our faculty and staff. That just opened up, finally, across the Guy West Bridge. If you haven't seen it, walk over the bridge. Just don't walk in the door because people are living in there. This semester, we'll also open up the new art building, which will allow us to excel in the arts and continue to lean in where other campuses are pulling out. As was mentioned by our chair and president, we will also open up the Swana Center this year, and students are absolutely elated. We're also moving our Pride Center finally into a much larger space on campus to recognize the fact that we have such a large Pride community here on our campus. We also moved Guardian Scholars into a new, larger center space in Sacramento Hall. And we did this opening the day before yesterday, and it was powerful. As many of you may know, I'm a former foster child myself, so anytime I get the opportunity to engage our Guardian Scholars, it just inspires me, gives me the fuel to keep on going. And to know that they're just right down the hall from our Project Rebound students, it's phenomenal. We're making changes here. In October, construction will begin on Student Housing 3, and that will be a 5-story, 97,000 square foot facility that will accommodate 335 students starting in June of 2026. That's pretty quick. And we'll also be opening up, based upon the incredible leadership in student affairs, a new basic needs center that will complement the existing basic needs efforts that are offered by Associated Students Incorporated. And I'm going to just tell you, I don't think that we should leave serving our students with basic needs, students who don't know where they're going to lay their head at night or where the next meal is going to come from, and put that only on our students. We should be joining forces with them, and this is our commitment to do so. We also heard from our staff about the need to highlight what's going on in terms of support for them, and I just want to highlight that we have a strategic planning effort called Cut the Red Tape, where we are reducing process redundancies that overburden our staff. And that's being led by Michelle Martin and Mark Hendricks. And I think that the main thing that I continue to hear as I talk with either of them or those who are involved in the process is, so why are we doing that again? So we don't need to. After several years, USA is having their staff picnic return, and we pledge support to support that event, so look out for that event. Outstanding Staff Awards are taking place on October 29th, and Academic Affairs did its first Years of Service event recognizing our faculty. This is a tradition that will continue. I literally got a whole sheet of other stuff to talk about, but I'm going to stop there. In other words, despite some of the things I opened up with, there's a lot more positive things happening. Sacramento State is on the rise. We are showing people that we are the one and only public university in the state capital of the 5th largest economy in the world, and we are acting like it, and we are on the way to becoming the absolute flagship of the Cal State system. And I say this with all due respect to those who are in the UC and those who are in other places, but you know, in a few years, they'll be talking about the UC as a backup school for Sacramento State. So you've heard plenty from me, and today we have the privilege of getting to know a few of our students who will provide you with a first-hand account of their experiences and how the challenges that they've navigated here at Sacramento State. To lead this effort, we have coming to the stage, in addition to our students, our Vice President for Student Affairs, Anisha Mitchell Esquire, who is an absolute gem, who is 100% dedicated to our students. And a lot of the things you just heard me rattle off in terms of wonderful things that are happening because of her leadership. So thank you all. Welcome back, and Stingers up.
Good morning, everyone. Feel like we're on fire and we're ready to soar. Would love for our amazing students to join me on the stage now. My name is Anisha Mitchell, and I serve as the Vice President for Student Affairs. I have the distinct honor of moderating our student panel today. One of the reasons I love Sac State so much is because of our students. And out of the 6 institutions that I've worked in my professional career, I can tell you there is no student like a Sac State student. Yes, that's right. Today, our student panelists will give us a glimpse into their unique perspectives and challenges that many of our Sacramento State students experience. I want to sincerely thank our students today for allowing us to learn directly from them on how we can best support them so they are in a position to thrive. I am pleased to introduce to you 5 incredible students. When I call your name, will you please wave so everyone in the audience knows who you are? First, Edmar Simatu. He's a computer science major from Monterey, California. Like nearly 1 in 5 of our students, Edmar is a parent. After graduating, he plans to attain a master's in cybersecurity. And I think Edmar has little ones here with him today, too, so we hope to see them as well. Next, Tyler Gardner is a 4th-year student majoring in political science from San Francisco, California. He's a student leader actively involved in Associated Students Incorporated and competes for our award-winning debate team. After graduating, Tyler plans to become a corporate or entertainment attorney. Jennifer Gomez is in her 4th year pursuing a major in communication studies with a minor in counseling from Madera, California. Before starting her studies at Sac State, Jennifer served in the U.S. military. Thank you for your service. After graduating, she plans to obtain her master's degree in vocational rehabilitation in hopes of becoming a vocational rehabilitation counselor for the Veteran Affairs. Next, we have Aranjot Kaur. Aranjot is in her 2nd year studying business administration and management. An international student from India, she competes in the Combat U program. After graduating, Aranjot plans to become a UFC champion. It's awesome. She also aims to utilize her degree to become a successful business owner. Also on our panel today is Michael Love, a graduate student pursuing a master's in communication from Oakland, California. Michael was first connected to Sac State through our TAPS Transforming Outcomes program and now serves as an outreach coordinator for Project Rebound. After graduating, Michael plans to obtain an EDD and continue to support the Project Rebound program. So now, without further ado, let's hear from our incredible students. So I'd like to start by asking each of you to share a bit about your journey to Sac State, what unique experiences or perspectives you bring to the campus. So Aranjot, do you want to start?
Hi, good morning everyone. I'm Aranjot Kaur from India. So when I came here, I just had a dream. I didn't know how I was gonna figure out the funds and everything. But Sac State welcomed me with open arms. Sac State is my second home now. And when I come here, I bring a global perspective, a perspective of an international student, and along with that, a sports person. I'm an MMA fighter. So I believe with all the skill sets that I bring here, Sac State is really serving me well, and I'm at home now.
Michael?
Good morning, my name is Michael Love. I came to Sac State, not the traditional way. I was in prison. I actually was never supposed to get out of prison. I got out of prison due to Sac State and the TOPS program that was initiated by Sac State. So when they say made at Sac State, I'm made at Sac State. When we talk about family, I was adopted as well. I was in foster care. I did not find out who my parents were until halfway through my prison experience. So when we talk about family, Sac State is my home. Sac State is my family. So I got out of prison on January 10th at 10 o'clock. I was on campus January 10th at 11:58 a.m. At that point in time, Dr. Zuckerman, my mentor, who is now my committee chair, signed me up for my remaining classes to finish my bachelor's degree in communication studies. I did finish that degree. I was then nudged rather forcefully by faculty to petition for graduate school, which I did, and I got in. So I'm now a little bit halfway through graduate school. None of this would have been possible without Sac State. None of this would have been possible without the TOPS program. More importantly, none of this would have been possible without Project Rebound. Project Rebound was fully supportive when I was in prison. When I was going to parole boards numerous times, they were writing letters. A gentleman who worked for Project Rebound now, he has since defected to UC Davis to run their program. However, he is my best friend. He wrote extensive letters, encouraged me, told me to keep going, and I found that through higher education, through critical thinking, anything is possible. I found out, I rekindled my heart with humanity. I understand the need for service, and that's what I do through Project Rebound. Project Rebound will be my life's work. So until I either kick the bucket or somehow they roll me out of there, that's where I'll be. All right? So in the spaces of diversity, equity, and inclusion, there can be no other space than Sacramento State University, period, hands down. So yes, there's always work to be done, but I don't know of any institution, any place with the heart, the soul, and the spirit of Sac State. So when they say Stingers Up, when they say Made at Sac State, it is one of the proudest moments. It was one of the proudest moments when I was in Golden One Arena and I saw my name on the screen when I used to be in a prison cell and I used to watch the Kings losing games on that screen, all right? So we'll definitely hope that they turn that around, and I'm just thankful to be here. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Benmar. So my journey to Sac State is pretty long. It's like a 20-year journey. I actually came first time in 2003. I'm actually one of the class members that voted for the well to happen. Yeah. Back at that time, though, mentally, I wasn't mature enough to handle, being in college. I actually told my mom and dad, I don't want to go to college. But being the son of immigrants, especially, from an Eastern background, very strict, you're going to do the education thing. I did what I was told. I came here, and I realized, my headspace wasn't here. So I actually, going from a household strict, being watched all the time, to having complete freedom, what was going to happen? I didn't do too well. I actually got academically dismissed. And at that point, I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to do what I originally set out to do and join the military. So I did that for a couple decades. From that experience, I matured, obviously. I had a family. And at the end of that career, I was like, what am I going to do now? So I was like, I'm going to be a better example for my kids. Come the time, when they're going to go to college, hey, I did it. If you want to do it, it's there. So now I'm here, finishing my degree. I'm in my senior year, computer science major. And being a computer science major or STEM major in general, parent of 5 kids, I don't know if you guys saw me. I came in with my 3 little ones. Having a 3 under 3, being a STEM major, completely difficult. It's unexplainable. My nights, my days for homework start literally at 10 p.m. and I gotta wake up at 5:30 the next day because I'm a commuter. So be present. I'm trying to be present as a parent, being focused as a student, And I'm glad that I'm finishing where I started.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Tyler Gartner, and my journey here honestly started off very rocky. This was the only school that took an opportunity for me and allowed me to come here, which I'm very much grateful to have. But coming here, I came straight from a high school, essentially, and I was ready to learn. I was ready to learn, and I'm very much happy to be here, and allowed me to grow as an individual, not only professionally, but internally as well. Being here as a student, I decided that I wanted to be the best possible version of myself. And I learned that by doing a personality test. Who was I as an individual? And I'm a debater. I'm a debater at heart, and this is just who I am as an individual. So I decided to join the speech and debate team, where I've been with for the past 3 years. I have also they've allowed me to become the team captain, and also allowing me to work on their public relations, specifically in regard to our media outreach and as well as our social media content as well. But also being here, I've allowed me to become part of ASI. I'm very much grateful and happy to be there. I love everything student government. Someone who did student government all 4 years of high school, I was very much happy to continue that journey and do it here, but specifically doing it in regards to the elections process and allowing them to be operated the best way possible and allow for fairness to continue thoroughly throughout the area as well.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jennifer Gomez. As mentioned, I was in the military. I served in the United States Marine Corps for 4 years, stationed in Iwakuni, Japan, mainland, not Okinawa. Please don't ask me if I was in Okinawa. And I've had the pleasure of being the president of the veterans organization here on campus, Sigma Omega Delta. We also have a Discord, which I moderate, that has over 150 student veterans in there. Edmar is in there. So, you know, being a new student, my journey was pretty difficult, going from a very structured, I know where to be at all times, I know what to do, I know what to eat, to coming to the civilian sector was very difficult for me. I was 21 years old when I got out of the military, as I joined when I was 17. So I had no idea how to be an adult. And Sacramento State really helped with that. The Veteran Success Center was really instrumental in helping me transition into not only the civilian life, but the academic life, which was something that I did not know very much about. So now that I'm here at Sac State, I love to advocate for the student veterans, making sure that this group, because as you can see just here on the student panel, student veterans are also part of other minority groups such as parents, other older generation veterans as well, so students. So it's been really helpful being here at Sac State, having Dr. Wood, having Natalie being so instrumental in helping our student voices be heard has been awesome.
I'm so happy to hear that Sac State is a home away from home for many of our students. So our next question is, what resources or support services have you used? How have they been helpful? And or what challenges did you encounter when engaging their services?
So I would start with my favorite story that I like to tell everybody. That's about Combat U. So before I came to Sac State, I was going to train at Uriah Faber's gym, and because Sac State is 1 mile away, I was like, okay, everything's worked out. But the gap between both of these were that I was not getting any scholarship because MMA is not an NCAA sport. So what I did was I texted President Luke Wood. And I talked about it because I saw him boxing. I saw his Instagram stories where he was boxing, and I did shoot him a message, and I come to Sac State, and there's a whole program which is being built, Combat U. So now Combat U is in place, and that's made possible by President Luke Wood and Coach Uriah Faber. And I believe this shows that Sac State really wants to serve people, and it listens to what the students have to say. And today, I'm the president of the Jiu-Jitsu and MMA Club for Combat U. And now I'm excited for Combat U to start. It's not just Combat U. I believe that if you want to be anything at Sac State, you have the resources. I want to be an entrepreneur. You have the Carlson Center, which has been really instrumental in my life. I make a business model. Even if I have littlest of the idea, I just go to the mentors at the Carlson Center, and they're there to help me. So I believe if you have any dream, Sac State is going to be there for you. Sac State is going to be there to take you forward, and none of the dreams is going to be disregarded here.
So for me, I must say that my transition was relatively smooth to Project Rebound being in place at this institution. So as I mentioned earlier, I came to campus literally 2 hours after I paroled from prison, and I was registered for my final classes of the BA program literally 3 hours after I paroled from prison, which I completed. So there's a host of challenges in life, period, no matter where we come from. One of my challenges was housing. One of my challenges was food. Housing was kind of sporadic. I made it through. I will say that they have the center here that's open 24 hours a day for studying. And so I used that center for studying, and I also took naps there. So there was about 3 weeks of my life where I was homeless, and I just studied here, and that's how I made it through. Project Rebound has helped in immense ways. There's a director named Aaron Green who just has a heart of gold, and has just been a personal inspiration in watching him navigate through spaces. In the talks that he's had with me, I was a student assistant for a little over a year. I then applied for the ASC 2 position, which I did get. And then I recently got the outreach coordinator position, which is my dream job. But none of that would have been possible without the mentorship that I've seen, the living, breathing examples. And that's one of the things about Project Rebound, which we really stress, is that we really don't want to talk about too much of anything. We just want people to see the examples. And we want to change hearts, minds, and spirits by how we live, how we move within these spaces, how we move within the community. I am thankful that we've got new offices. We used to all be in one office, all the staff, all the student assistants, all the people that received our services, all in one office. It was quite chaotic at times. We navigated through the leadership of Dr. Wood. He came to our office on that first day. Shortly thereafter, we had new spaces. Not only did we have new space, but we had new space in the President's Building. Imagine that. And so we are truly thankful that we now not only have our offices, but we have a student center right across the way that our students can come and study and do their work. One of the things about Project Rebound is, of course, it serves the justice-impacted community. But one of the things that we really felt passionate about is now that we have the Student Center, we have advised our students that if they are in a class and they're studying with another student, because we know that we cannot get through this by ourselves, they are more than welcome to bring that other student to our Student Center, and they can study there. I don't care what program they're in, they are welcome to study where we are. And that's one of the things that we want to see as we have these different student organizations, absolutely beautiful, diverse backgrounds, absolutely beautiful, but we don't want to get caught in excluding anyone, because that's one of the reasons why we have these organizations, because we were once excluded. So to do the same thing, I'm not sure where that fits in equity and inclusion. So we want to make sure that we include all students and we just bridge the gap and really solidify that family and build the synergy that is possible here at Sac State.
Since my return to Sacramento State, there have been a few programs and resources that I've actually utilized. First one I'm going to say is CARES. Hands down, one of the lead programs here on campus that I want to say is underrated. The staff there are phenomenal, human-centric, people-centric, if you will. The next one is the Parents and Families Program. Obviously, as a parent, I came here, I was very unaware of what was available to me, so I felt very alone, if that makes sense. You know, as an older person on campus, it's like the isolation is amplified. When I bring my kid to campus, even more so. So I'm like, okay, I'm really in this alone. Like, I don't know if there's any support, but you know, I know the grind. I'm used to it. Let's just get down to it. And then came time to find ways to pay for childcare. So for anyone who's a parent and has a child in childcare, you know it's simply like paying a mortgage, if not more, especially in California. So I did my own research. I literally went to the website, and in the search box in the top right, I was like, parents, search. And literally, the first or second link was parents and families. And in my head, I was like, what the? I'm like, this exists? What is this? And I clicked on it, and I delved into it. And I'm so thankful now that I did that and found that this program exists. You know, it's headed by Dr. Myers Dillon, who's the director. The coordinator, Stephanie Alcala, and our office mom, Pam. They're all here. Having worked with that program, been taken in by that program, it's literally a second family here on campus. You know, pun intended, I guess, with the Parents and Families title. But they're awesome. They're very welcoming. The program itself is, quite honestly, underfunded and underutilized. But again, it's there, and I'm glad I took advantage of it. Coincidentally, when I was applying for resources to cover childcare, I was actually freaking out on my commute here up to Sacramento. I was like, how is this going to happen? And then Dr. Myers Dillon actually called me personally, and I also, on the road, I'm not going to pick up the phone and answer, so I sent straight to voicemail. Plus, I didn't recognize the phone number. And then, I played it on speaker. And when she said what she said, hey, we're going to cover your childcare here at the Children's Center, I literally balled up. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, a weight lifted off my shoulders, I was like, because I was freaking out. I was like, can I do this? Like, is it worth it? How am I going to do school and do that? Because if I can't do the childcare thing, I can't do school. I'm going to have to be the stay-at-home dad, which, no problem, but school was one thing I really wanted to finish, it having been so long and me being so close. So again, Parents and Families Program, thank you so much. CARES, thank you so much. The VSC, Veteran Success Center, because like Jen, I was kind of lost in terms of the financial planning of it. How's it going to get covered? How do I use my benefits? And that center, great in and of itself. They just need windows, Dr. Wood. But yeah, I think from my experience thus far, those three are pinnacle.
So I'm so sorry if I'm going to be a downer, and trigger warning, this is a little bit of a sad story. But in regards to my challenges that I've faced here at Sacramento State, before I came here, actually, I was a victim of sexual assault, and it does happen to men, I just have to point that out. But I was able to move on, and Sacramento State allowed me to process that, specifically in regards to the student health and counseling services. I found out, unfortunately, that the individual that did assault me also gave me human immunodeficiency virus, which is basically HIV, and it was a lot. It was a lot, and it continuously is a lot for me to deal with. However, Sacramento State has provided me with the resources in order for me to get throughout the day. I wouldn't be here without student health and counseling services and the therapists that they have provided me. I wouldn't be here without the testing that they've provided me here as well, and I also wouldn't be here without the other groups that they've allowed and accessed me to. Specifically, the time management focus group, which allowed me to acknowledge the challenges that I face and how to prioritize certain activities, specifically being a student first, and also making sure that I ensure time for self-care and other responsibilities that I'm taking care of. Without Sacramento State, I wouldn't have a community, specifically in regard to the speech and debate team. We work out together, we go out together. I have a home here, and I know that I have the community that Sacramento State has provided for me.
Yeah, so the Veteran Success Center has been really instrumental for me and many other veterans here on campus. Not only does the VSC serve veterans, but also student dependents, so the dependents of veterans get assistance through the center as well. We are getting windows now at Edmar. We will soon be moving offices to be announced, but that is going to be great for the veterans here on campus and allow for us to meet more communally. The community aspect is a big part of Sacramento State and why I love being on campus more than being at home at sometimes. But it's all really, it's almost inspirational being able to help people and learning things from people, knowing that we go through the same struggles, right? So everybody, and to share a little bit of like war stories and stuff like that is pretty fun. We're going hiking this weekend in Tahoe before school starts and we start, not having so much free time. But the VSC, if they don't have the answers, they find the answers. If they don't have the resources, they kind of point us in the direction. I always show the other veterans on campus about the Disability Access Center has been also pretty instrumental for veterans, as many veterans struggle with their own disabilities. So yeah, the VSC, I will continue to hype up. I worked there for a little bit. It's no longer as cool because I don't work there anymore. I'm just kidding. But it is a great resource for veterans and the dependents of veterans.
You're going to love the new space, Jennifer.
Oh, I bet, yes.
And we have time for one more question. And that question is, if you could give your faculty one piece of advice about better understanding the student experience, what would it be?
So we are in the US, we're at Sac State, but we should also realize that there are so many people who are international students, and they come to Sac State to call it their home. It's not easy to leave your country and come to another country with just a dream and not knowing what else, if something is gonna work out or not. When I came, I just had a dream. I came here, and yes, everything did fell into place for me, but now I stand for people who struggle and those who want a safe space, a space corner to talk to. I would say that we should be really, really generous in understanding student perspectives, especially global perspectives, students who come as international students. IPGE has been really helpful for me for that. They do have Zoom meetings before you come to Sac State. So in that way, it's really important for the faculty, for the staff, to listen to what students are going through and what their concerns are, because sometimes what we students want is just for you to tell us, yes, you're at the right space, everything would work out. And I've experienced that, and I want everybody to experience that. And in that way, we can foster an environment which helps each and everybody. And yes, we do talk about groups, we do talk about people that they need more resources, but I want especially the international students, they should be heard as well. Because something I struggled with being an international was there were very less scholarships available for internationals, and that has changed in just a year. And I would love to see that change even more and more. For example, when I came here, I did not know if I was going to get any scholarship, but the IPGE introduced the international student fee waiver. So it's that Sac State is always evolving. Everybody is looking out to make our experience even better and better. So I love that for us. And even with Combat U, it was because my voice was heard. It was because my story, what I was going through, was heard. And at Sac State, I believe it's not a university. I say that with my experience. It's not easy being away from your country. I love my mother. I've been with her all my life. I haven't gone anywhere without her. And now I'm at Sac State. And there's no day that I feel that I'm not at home. It's because of the amazing faculty that's here. I mean, I just came back from India after 3 months, and I, again, like for the second time, I left for India for the first time since I've been in the US, and I came back, and everybody was there to greet me with open arms. So that's what Sac State is. I mean, it gives you a feeling that you belong here. So to the faculty, I would say, to Sac State, to everybody, every amazing person, I would say, continue being what you do, doing what you do, because you are doing that the best way. And I'm an example. I can tell you that. I can tell you that through my experience. You will be heard. You belong here. Stingers up.
Well, I must say, as a communication studies major and coming into the communication studies department, each and every single professor there that I've had the pleasure of meeting and interacting with has been outstanding, hands down. So when it comes to disseminating information and listening and guidance, I couldn't script it any better. So I am very thankful to them. Now, on a broader sense, as we've all heard, there are a number of organizations on campus, which is absolutely beautiful. There are a number of resources on campus, which is absolutely very beautiful. One of the things, though, that I see and that we at Project Rebound have really worked diligently to do is to get to know other organizations and to get to have conversations and get to hold space for other ideas, because we recognize that we do not have a monopoly on good ideas, and wherever they may come from, we want to listen to them and expand on them and just build those bridges of opportunity for our students. We have a student right now, Project Rebound student, Sac State student, that actually calls roll for the Senate in the capital of California, right? So we want to be in various spaces so that we can advance our students. And we also want to call back the students that have graduated from Sac State and that have moved on, because we feel that it is their responsibility to bring someone else on as well and mentor someone that's here. So we feel that we have a lot of work to do in spaces of diversity, equity, and inclusion, in listening to people and listening to their needs, in reaching out to other organizations, partnering with them to either help. We had a student that came in, so through AT&T, the university, we gave out over 300 laptops last Saturday, in this particular room. We had a student that came to the office Monday that did not fit our program, but she needed a laptop. We had extra laptops. We gave her a laptop because she's a Sac State student, period. That's what we want to do. And so we want to make sure that that we are inclusive to each and every single student here on campus.
The advice I would give, I would say be human. Understand the human aspect. Because of the world of academia 10, 15, 20 years ago no longer exists. And as Dr. Wood pointed out, we're a flagship school, and we can be a flagship school for so many other aspects. Being a student of College of Engineering, Computer Science, everything literally is black and white. But I think there should be understanding and acknowledgement that there is a gray area, and we can all understand that applies to almost everything in life. And I think nowadays it's truly relevant in the world of academia. As you can see across the stage, we're all, across the board, across the spectrum of what a student is here at Sac State, especially. And I think the staff, faculty here on campus should be more mindful. a little more cognizant. And I'm not asking each and every individual to be a subject matter expert, but just to be mindful at the very least, and understanding. Case in point, spring 23, I had to email my professor the night before midterm, hey, I can't make it. My son just came down with a 103-degree fever. I'll let you know by morning if it goes down and I can come. That morning I said, hey, I'm not coming. And I simply replied back, I goes, okay. I was like, so I didn't go to the midterm. I went the next day, the next class session. I came and I spoke to him after class. I was like, what can we do? And essentially, there was no retake. I was like, okay, I guess I'll have to take that L, take that 0. It wasn't until he saw me dropping off my kid at the Children's Center that very same day, hey, I'm gonna see you after class today. He's like, hey, I wanna offer you that retake if you're still open to it. And I was like, I wasn't lying. And clearly I look older than most of the other students in the class. You can see that, bags are under the eyes. I'm always up late. Receding hairline. But yeah, just be mindful, be human, case by case, of course. Don't treat us like a number. I think that's it.
I would say my biggest piece of advice to our faculty is to maintain grace. We don't know what anyone's going through necessarily. However, we should approach it with sensitivity and understanding and just empathy as a whole. Just piggybacking off of what you were saying earlier, we should be human with our students and with our other community members as well. Just with maintaining grace, though, it also is just being cognizant of all the different things that are going on within this world globally. We are seeing wars going on and genocide going on. We see people who don't have food and also basic needs. So in order to ensure that we have that respect and conscious communication with our students, we should approach each interaction with grace.
Seems like it's already all been said. But yeah, just making sure that it remains cognizant and, at the front of the minds that everybody's coming from a different path of life, and we all share one thing in common, which is that we're all Hornets. So even if you went to another school, that's fine. But, just making sure that you remain human, as everybody said, and offer some empathy and be kind in times where they aren't so kind. So, yeah.
I want to sincerely thank our students for telling their stories. I'm admired by your courage, the initiative that you've taken, and your resilience, and I'm honored to serve you. When I think of the fact that I've been in higher ed for over 20 years now, and I wanted to work in higher ed to inspire our future, to educate and develop our future. Never did I think that it would be our future inspiring me and educating me. So I hope that y'all have learned a lot from our students through active listening, and I hope that their stories will challenge you on how you can best serve them and be your best selves for them so they can continue to thrive both inside and outside of the classroom. Let's give our students another round of applause. So this concludes the Fall 2024 address. I hope that all of you can welcome the challenge of making this academic year, the 24-25 one, the best academic year ever. There is a networking event that's occurring in the lobby. Please join us, and let's have it for 24-25. And can I get a stingers up?